Let's join together in awakening the spirit that lives within all of us, that we may live more fully and know what it truly means to love and actually be ourselves. So, welcome. Let's explore our sexuality, authenticity, yoga, and human design, all of which intersect and meet at the cross of spirit. Yo, welcome back. It's your boy Rocky. Welcome to the cross of spirit. This is the cross of spirit. It must be, because here I am. I am the cross of spirit. Whatever that means, I have some clues. I have some ideas, but those are just ideas. We'll see what my life reveals to me about the cross of spirit. But I know it has something to do with sex, and I know it has something to do sex and sexuality, connection, reproduction, the dispersion of ideas. The ability to create sustainable resources through connectivity of human to human bonds. So that's a part of it. Faith is a part of it. Abundance is a part of it. The abundance of my spirit, my ability to create from a place of faith, which essentially is saying that, things go up, things go down, but we can maintain a steadiness in our vibration that allows us to tap directly from the quantum field, from source, everything that we need to fulfill ourselves, our spirits, our passions. And of course, there's this enthusiasm that I have in sharing my natural gifts, in details, focus. Just, of course, revisiting the gates of my incarnation cross. But enough about that. Who really knows? As you can see, I'm in a state of relative know-nothingness at the moment, which seems like a good place to record this episode. It's been a couple weeks since I've recorded an episode of Cross of Spirit. I could give you a whole bunch of reasons why I think that is, but the most simplest reason is that it just hasn't felt right. I just haven't wanted to. And, going into this project or this endeavor, it would be massively ironic if I was to start, and hypocritical, which, I have it in me to be a hypocrite, but it would be very hypocritical of me to start a podcast all about kind of my journey following my human design, and then to not follow my human design strategy and authority in recording an episode. It's really given me a lot to contemplate and reflect on about my relationship with consistency and this notion of things you have to do. Specifically posting newsletters, recording an episode, staying consistent with the things that you have to do to sustain your business. Or sustain you, or to keep getting recognition for your services so that people can continue to call you out to provide them. And I don't want to, I have no negative sentiments around business and marketing and consistency and all that, because depending on who you are, depending on your design, depending on what's correct for you, all that may be really, really, really useful for you. And it may be really useful for me at certain iterations and certain times in my journey. But what I've really been observing, and this is something that really just sort of came to a head yesterday, and I may or may not have the language around it, is first of all, how many stories I've adopted over the years that I've just assumed were true about me, about what I had to do to be successful, and even about what success was or is for me, that may or may not be true at all for me. These days, all I want to do really is heal. Not that I feel, I'm really loving my life, and I love being me, and I'm stepping more and more into what I feel like is my purpose every day, but I'm recognizing that I don't think my purpose is a job. I don't think my purpose has anything to do with what I am here to do other than heal. My purpose is to uncover who I am. And I can't do that if I'm carrying around all this ancestral patterning and programming and imprinting, and also just the conditioning that I've acquired during this lifetime that has told me at some level that it's not okay for me to be who I am. And that doesn't mean just like you being your authentic self. That means, in my case especially, like following my own path. You know, so many things in my life I've been told, okay, if you want, to be a success in this way or in that way, here are the things you have to do. And my body's going like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And, but then I'm like, well, you have to do it. You have to do this, because if you don't do it, if you just do it your own way, it's either not going to work, you'll be rejected, you won't be understood. Lots of individual circuitry stuff, if you're familiar with that aspect of your design. I have a lot of individual circuitry. I'm so down to heal. Like, I'm so down to use this time in my life. I'm a 6th line on the roof. If you are another 6th line that's somewhere between the ages of 30 and maybe 48, welcome. If you're interested, you can go back and listen to the episode on profile. But, 6th line archetypes are on a journey towards uncovering and fulfilling our purpose. And oftentimes we can feel a lot of pressure, especially from an early age, to like figure out what that is, or to get there, to hurry up and get there. And it's interesting, it's ironic, it's comforting and also kind of baffling to consider that my purpose isn't a destination or something to figure out. In a sense it is, like the destination is right here. And what I'm figuring out is that my purpose, at least right now, is to heal. To decondition is my purpose. And that I can't actually fulfill the potential of being a role model unless I'm deconditioning and ultimately deconditioned. And it doesn't mean that, you decondition and it's a fixed, finished state. I think like we all live in a conditioned world, but I think, or at least I feel that in the ways that I already have deconditioned, I can recognize when conditioning forces show up to like recondition me, and it's much easier to kind of do it in real time. Do I have anything else to say today? So when I started my journey as a yoga teacher, it was an extension of the deconditioning I was doing at that time, and also the exploring I was doing at that time. I just moved away from home. I was like 17, 18. And I was able to kind of recognize for the first time, like, oh, here's who I am in the world. Like, take me out of my home environment and plop me down in like Los Angeles at the time. I'm still in Los Angeles, but when I moved away from home, I moved to LA, and I was confronted by a lot. I was confronted by a lot of my own fears and inadequacies and insecurities, and the notion that like there's not really a path to success. If there is one that's been laid out for me, it doesn't feel good to go through it. I don't enjoy this. I don't like it. How do I find my own path? How do I tread my own path? How do I learn how to follow my own convictions and create what I want, or at least what I thought I want then, from a place of like sufficiency and a place of trust and faith in the universe's ability to deliver to me that? And do I deserve that? Do I even deserve to have what I want, or do I need to earn it? Do I need to prove it? Do I need to prove that I deserve to have what I want? Do I need to prove to myself, that I deserve to have what I want? And the answer to a lot of those questions at a level was yes. I did believe I needed to prove it, that I was, woke enough, or spiritual enough, or intelligent enough, or knowledgeable enough, or inspiring enough, or attractive enough, or whatever, talented enough, dedicated enough, devoted enough to earn what it is that I wanted. And ultimately now what I know is like what I want is to be satisfied. What I want is what's right for me. What I want is to heal And I say heal not to suggest that I am not healed. In many ways, I am healing. But it's a verb. I want to continue this process of healing, of uncovering, of discovering, of revealing, of activating, of up-leveling, of integrating, integrating. You know. What was I talking about? So when I started teaching yoga, when I did my yoga teacher training, I was learning a lot of really amazing tools that were helping me feel better, in my own energy, helping me feel more empowered, helping me feel more in alignment with who I am or who I was at the time, or who I thought I was or who I wanted to be. And I wanted to share those tools with other people. So it made sense to do a teacher training. Interestingly, before I did my yoga training, I was contemplating becoming a life coach. I wanted to share what I was learning about meditation and, how your thoughts create your reality and law of attraction and all these different things with others. I mean, that's always kind of been my flex. It's I'm a 6'2", but in my chart, there's a lot of fifth line, fourth line archetype. I am a sort of natural teacher and natural disperser of ideas throughout my network. That's certainly been co-opted over the years by the projections of others and myself, that I have this potential to be a big thought leader on a world stage kind of thing. And I felt that potential. And it put a sort of pressure on me throughout the arc of my career as a yoga teacher to continuously seek more exposure. I have an undefined throat in my human design, and there's a lot of kind of dormant, I'll say dormant, but there's a lot of dormant activations in my undefined throat that speak to my ability to share my experiences and share my experience and share my talents and share my enthusiasm for my talents and share my natural leadership abilities, to share my voice. There's a lot of sharing possibility in my undefined throat. And for any of you that have an undefined throat or a non-motorized throat, if you look at your design chart, so basically any generator, any pure generator and any projector and reflector are not going to have motors to your throat. And if that's the case, you don't have a consistent way of being heard or a consistent way of let's say, manifesting action or initiating or sharing. The throat is all about sharing. And so the not self strategy, we talked about this in the last episode, whenever that was, is to feel like you need to get attention so that you can be heard, you can be seen. And it creates this kind of mistaken motivation in a lot of us that tells us that in order to be heard, in order to be seen, we need to make ourselves very compelling, make ourselves more flashy, do more promotion, post more things, get more stuff out there, create more exposure for ourselves, get on a digital platform, get over, looking back, I realize all of my strategies within my career, my various pursuits and careers, yoga, certainly with acting and with music, have all been about trying to get more attention, more followers, more signups, more views, more clicks, more subscribers. And where I'm at in my life right now, do I care about that? I just don't care about that. So I've been quiet a little bit. I've been quiet on social media. I've been quiet on my newsletter. I've been quiet on here because I still wish to share. This is a share right now. I have no idea if this is, hopefully there's some value in me being vulnerable and honest with all this. But I don't care if 1,000 people listen to it, or if it goes viral, or if one person hears it and receives value from it. All I want to do these days is heal. And I want to share that healing with others. I've recently launched my coaching practice, which is a practice that uses human design as an entry point, as a tool to really understand where in the individual, where in you may be telling yourself old stories, right, or conditioned in a way that is keeping you from expressing your brilliance, from expressing your excellence, from vibrating at the highest, most optimal level for who you are. Not that that's a fixed state, but it's been a really powerful season of deep integration for me, of recognizing all the tools that I've acquired over the years that can aid in that process of helping someone come back into resonance with who they are. And it's the process I'm going through. It's the process my clients are going through with me. And it's really fucking cool. Like, it's really cool to watch someone just release an old story that's defined them for their whole life and, reactivate a story that's more in alignment with the truth of who they are. And it works, not like it's a one-to-one or it's then it's over, but it's all I want to be a part of right now, both with my friends, with my community, with any of you guys listening. Like, if you want to hang out with me, intimacy is what I'm down for. Like, one-on-one, let's hang out, let's talk, let's heal together. Let's see each other for who we actually are, not for who we've been told, we need to be in order to prove our value in the world at a certain level. So I'm really good. Like, I'm good. It's like when you learn a new language and you go to a foreign country that speaks that language, you can feel like awkward putting it into practice. And after a while, it starts to become fluent, right? And it just becomes the way that you communicate. And I feel like I'm learning a new language, not like even with human design, but I'm learning a new story about myself. I'm learning to write a new story about myself. And it's familiar still to push play on old stories or old ways of showing up. Even on this podcast, you might notice, my voice tends to activate as a teacher, as the voice of a teacher, much more readily than it activates as just the voice of Rocky the human. And while I recognize that that is a gift, it can also be a way that I hide, or a way that I feel the pressure to show up as the manifested potential that others see me as possibly being, or the person that can help others achieve their potential, which I am, and I can when it's right. But I also recognize that for me to sort of break free from the projections of others and the projections of myself, or the conditioning that I've acquired based on other people's projections of my abilities, my capacity, my role, my potential. The only way through that is by revealing who I am and revealing where I am, and understanding more and more who I actually am, so I can, share that part of myself with the world when it's correct. How are you guys doing? You doing well? You doing good? Is it nice to hear me share in this way? Is it in some way giving you permission to look at stories that you've been telling about yourselves that may or may not be true or supportive? Maybe, maybe not. There was something else I felt inclined to talk about, but I can't seem to remember. I may be bringing on more guests for these podcasts so that I can actually have a conversation and something to respond to. And I started the podcast, it was during a time in the transits that I had a lot of motors to my throat. It was, kind of easy to initiate communication. Not that I fully initiated. I was able to respond my way into this, but these days, unless I'm talking with someone, I kind of just want to, either shut up and listen or respond sincerely in the moment. So these days I crave intimacy, the intimacy of connecting one-on-one. And it was something I realized yesterday, that I carry with me this sort of guilt that I'm not meeting my responsibilities relative to my business. My trajectory as a yoga teacher was one of continuously seeking more attention and more exposure and a larger platform, so that I could, at some level, prove to myself that I and others that I am valuable. And I know now through the work that I'm doing, I'm coming into resonance with my innate value in a way that I never have before, and I recognize how unique and unusual and powerful and impactful and brilliant my energy is. Like, whether I'm doing anything with it or not, just being able to sit with it and be in it and live within my my like preciousness. And I feel such this like tenderness for myself that for so many years I hustled my ass off, like trying to prove that in the world. It's like, whoa, I don't need to prove to anything that I'm a precious commodity. Commodity's not the right word. I'm a precious asset. I'm a precious being. I don't need to be a commodity. I don't need to commodify that preciousness. It's fun to share value. It's fun to be valuable for others, but to prove it by getting more likes, more attention, more money, all these numbers, it's just, I don't think any of us like that feeling anymore. Do you? Do you like measuring your value with numbers? Do you like measuring your infinite nature in finite numbers? So we're redefining value. I'm redefining value for myself. And I recognize that I've built this whole sort of machine, this whole thing of like, the post that goes on Instagram, that goes on the story, the newsletter that promotes the this, that shares about this, the funnel that brings in more people to click on this, and da. And yes, I love connecting with others. I love having a wide, broad, diverse community of individuals and cultures around the world that I've been able to interact with. I'm so grateful for my travels and everything that exposed me to, and all the ways that I was able to grow and adapt and learn through the diverse connections that I've been able to make around the world. So not taking any of that for granted. And I'm really grateful, that at the click of a button, I can communicate with just about everybody that I've formed a relationship with. But these days, I just want to hang out and talk about, ways that we can bring each other back into alignment with our energy. So I don't really feel like making a big old newsletter. I don't really feel like marketing my business, because what am I marketing? I don't have any programs out. I don't have any courses out. I will be, leading some more retreats. So I have a retreat coming out. I'll send a newsletter about that. I got a teacher training online that get to be a part of. And yeah, I want people to know about those things. But what I really want is to hang out with a handful of people each week that are committed to learning who it is they are, how to show up as the most individual, brilliant, unique, awake version of themselves they can, and to engage in that process with curiosity with me. The clients that I'm working with already, really beautiful transformation in a relatively short amount of time. So, you're invited. You're invited to hit me up if you want to hang out. Yeah. Do I have anything else to say today? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's all I want to say today, guys. Moving forward, this is the vibe for this podcast. I'll record when it feels right, for as long as it feels right. If you have a request, you want to give me something to respond to, I'll share on that. I am still a teacher. I love to teach the things, especially the things that I'm in the process of learning myself. I love to share. But right now, what I'm learning about, who I'm learning about, is me. So all I can do in this moment is share what I'm coming to understand about myself. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for being interested in what I have to say, or not. And please love yourself. You're so valuable. You're so precious. There's never been a you before. And we need you. We all have a particular role to play here. That's why we're so unique in our gifts and our archetypes and the frequencies we carry and contribute to the whole. So please give yourself and others the benefit of healing, of being less busy. Maybe redefine what doing looks like for you. Doing is not just getting things done. I ask so many people, how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. I had a really good day. I got so much done. But how are you doing? Oh, I'm good. I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm getting a lot done. What is doing anyway? I'm doing something right now. I inhale, exhale. That's a form of doing. I rest. That's a form of doing. I play my music. That's a form of doing. I listen to music. That's doing. We're always doing. Doing. You don't have to be getting things done in order to prove that you're valuable. You're so valuable. You are valuable. And you don't have to figure out what you need to do in order to express that value. You have to heal. You have to heal your self-worth. It's possible. And if you're interested in healing your self-worth with me, along with me, I'd love to do that with you. So hit me up. All right, guys. Peace out.